it's all the support that I got from all of you guys, and it's the reason that I'm here. And it's the old saying, if you want to work quick, you work alone. But if you want to go far, we go together.
Yeah.
And it's because of that support. And the ways to get that support is really if we come from the genuine place of serving, of connection, and we are there just to be our authentic self.
I see my victory so clear. I see my victory so clear. And today, we break through. And today, we break through. And today, we break through. And today.
Your life does not change over months, days, or years. Your life literally can change in an instant. When it's a good thing, it is what we call a breakthrough. When you make a breakthrough in your life, it is a game changer when it comes to achieving the success that you're after in your life, whether that's personal, professional, pretty much any aspect of your life. With that comes the success story. I'm sure a lot of you follow people on social media or have read accounts of biographies of people who are super successful, made a legacy, made a breakthrough in their career. And while that sounds really cool and inspiring, the thing that's often missing is the story, the background, what that breakthrough moment was to catapult them to success and lead them to where they are today. So guys, super excited for today's episode because we're gonna share with you our success story. So this is super exciting for a couple reasons. One, it's come full circle in a relatively short period of time.
Full circle.
Each of us got clarity about a year ago to the day for when this happened, when we started in our journey. But what else is cool is both of us are really good friends. Both of us have different goals, but we had our breakthrough on the exact same day, and we achieved our breakthrough achievement on the exact same day too, a year later. So, dude,
exact same day, man.
Exact same day. Like, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
So I'm super excited to share this with you guys because like how the world works, synchronicity, and like all the principles of entrepreneurship, all the principles that I've been sharing in the past 2 years in this podcast literally come full circle into this one episode. So this is definitely one you want to listen to all the way through. Because guys, this is just, it still like blows my mind just thinking about it. But I don't want to delay getting started to this anymore. We're going to dive right in. So if you guys don't know my good friend here, Alex, he is the mastermind behind all the videos that you see in the content. This is Alex Liu, master videographer, soon to be best filmmaker in the world. But his story of how he got started and his breakthrough with that is really fascinating. And the culmination of that moment of success that happened just a few weeks ago in New York City, right?
Yep, New York City.
So what's crazy is his moment of success was in New York City on a Saturday, the last Saturday in July. Mine was the last Saturday, same day, last Saturday in July in Houston. It was our moment, our breakthrough that started from our breakthrough that began this process a year prior. So do you want to just share like how this happened?
Yeah.
Like the beginning story about a year ago, last July it was actually.
Yeah, so about a year ago, I was working at a company and doing sales, and it's just not. I don't feel fulfilled. It's not my truth. And talking about breakthrough, my breakthrough moment was the moment when I called my boss and basically saying it's time for me to really dive into my dream. So I quit the full-time job. Really scary because I have literally no other clients outside of this. You know, there's no safety net at all. I just want to do filmmaking. I love this. This is my passion. So I just take a leap of faith and then quit my full-time job. And that was a year ago. But now, just looking back, only not even a year of time, just seeing how things manifest, how far I've come just from that. Basically one decision, it blows my mind. So what leads me to that decision of making that phone call was exact same day. Well, Adam was doing his talk, and he invited me to film his talk. It's the first talk he ever given.
First paid talk ever.
My first film gig ever. And on that day, I knew, because for me, filmmaking, I always wanted to make videos that has positive impact to the world. But at that time, I don't have a lot of wisdom to share. I'm still young. What's the perfect people for me to work with is the people that already have years of wisdom, of mastery. They have that content to share to the world, but they just need someone to help them put it out there.
Right.
And then I found my exact sweet spot is using my passion for video and help people like Adam to spread their message out to the world. That was the moment I found that out. And what's interesting is the place you did the talk is Point Park. What's interesting about that is I was a college student at Point Park. I dropped out of college 2 years ago. So it comes to me full circle in that day when I come back, not as a student, but as someone starting my career while my peers are still in school.
Yeah.
And that moment is like, let's go.
So guys, we're going to divide this podcast into 2 parts. Because Alex has his own story, I have mine. They started on the same day.
Same day.
They culminated to our breakthrough on the same day, but the layers of story and how this happened are so fascinating to me. I just want to break this up into 2 parts. So the first part, we're going to go through Alex's journey from a year ago. So prior to this, so 2 years ago now, Point Park University, that's in Pittsburgh, Alex dropped out of school and decided, this isn't what I want. I'm going all in on entrepreneurship. This is my true passion, my true calling. So on that day, his breakthrough, when he had his first paid gig, which was mine, so I claim fame to that. What do you call that? Like groundbreaking investor or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But on that day, he came back, and after filming that, he's like, wow, I am so in my element in feeling like this is what I was meant to do. So his breakthrough was he took a leap of faith to go towards his passion, and he got that confirmation by the feeling, by just feeling so fulfilled in that moment. He's like, this is the path that I have chosen, and this feels right to me. Now I already went all in, but now I'm all in with heart and soul. So that's literally his ground zero starting moment a year after he dropped out. So that's a year ago. So 2 years ago he dropped out. 1 year ago, he started on this journey at Point Park the same day I gave my first paid talk.
Yeah.
So from that point, Alex decided, so tell us what your mission is. Like, tell us who your ideal client is and why you want to be a videographer. Like, what message you want to share with the world, or whose message you want to share with the world.
My ideal clients, I want to work with entrepreneurs and business owners. Well, anybody that is making a positive impact to the world, that has a good message to share and need video to help them spread that message.
Yes.
That's literally my ideal client.
So a positive entrepreneur that's doing good in the world, that has a huge following, an influencer basically.
Yeah.
That's his ideal client. So he's like, okay, I want to share people's positive message. I have a unique medium to do that through video.
Yeah.
That's your skill set. You're really good at. You're passionate about it.
Thank you.
You love that.
Yeah.
So you have a clear target, and then you start on this process. And you went through many gigs working with individuals, working with the Cancer Center, working with businesses, like so many things. And you just want to share some of those learning moments along the way before I get to the Dr. Joe story.
Oh, okay. So between the Dr. Joe story, so a couple of things that happened that really shifts my mindset with just career and life in general is, when I just commit to full-time videography, and one of my good friend, Matt, his wife is one of the leader at the called the Cancer Caring Center. So they are a nonprofit organization that just basically help cancer people. And so I got a gig from them. They have this annual wig out event where people with cancer, everybody's wear wigs. So you don't know who has cancer, who is not. It's a really heartwarming event. So my mission is to film that event. And after that event, I got another gig from the same company. They wanted to interview people that are been through cancer. And that gig just changed everything, because when I finished that video and sent it to them. The message I got from them is like everybody's crying from watching the video, and we didn't know our mission is so important until we see the feedbacks from the patients on video, what they talk about, their stories.
So they were emotionally moved because you were able to take their mission and story, put it into a video to evoke emotion and get other people on board with their message and mission.
Yeah.
And that just clicked.
That clicked. That moved me because I have never known the power of video until that point when I see it in action. When I see them, like people are literally
The
feedback, crying, and even the people that I was interviewing are crying in front of the camera because those moments are so real. And when I see that, I see the impact. That moment, I know this is what I'm going to do my whole life. It's just diving deep on video and on making that positive impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
that's a pivotal.
So you're starting to do your gigs. I'm starting on my gigs, just getting scrappy. Like, I have this passion, I have this energy. My goal is to be a professional speaker. I want opportunities. So I've been a license owner with the Diet Doc with Dr. Joe Klemczewski and Dr. Corey Probst since 2013. As you know, being the Fit Pharmacist, fitness is huge. Nutrition is something that not only I preach, but I practice myself. We have annual training for this in Nashville, Tennessee. And I approached Joe and I'm like, hey, here's my goal. Is there some way that we can combine and make this a win-win-win so that people benefit from my expertise, which is social media and teaching these principles, but also help me get on my goal to a professional speaker? So we found a match, we found a medium. I got an idea. I'm like, Dr. Joe and Corey, the Diet Doc, phenomenal content, like just thousands and thousands of testimonials. And they have an amazing audience, but their video, that's where social media is going. They really need to beef that up. So I'm thinking of this and I'm like, here's another win-win-win situation. Because Alex's goal is video with clients, connecting, showing people what he's got and helping them on their mission. So I thought this would be awesome. So I said, Alex, you need to reach out to Dr. Joe. I'll connect you guys through email and see if you can, have a gig out of this, get a client. So tell us what happened when you reached out.
So I reached out to Dr. Joe and he said, I'm going to tuck this under the table and then, because we don't have the time and the budget for video yet. So basically I got rejected.
And I said, how did it go? Like, did you hear from Dr. Joe? And you told me, this is what happened.
This is what happened. And I was literally about to send the email of, okay, we'll just keep in touch. But I was reviewing that email thread a couple of weeks ago. I didn't send that out. It remained as a draft. Yeah. So what I did is while we were hanging out at the Dorba Tea.
Yeah, we're having tea talking about, our goals, where we are, progress, things like that.
So I ask you, is there any other way to approach this? And so during that session, we crafted an email. Basically, the mindset behind that email is, I'm so committed of what I do and I'm so committed on their mission that I'm going to go to Tennessee, Nashville to film their entire event for free on my own dime. I'll buy the plane ticket, I'll buy the hotel, I'll go there, I'll film, I'll edit, and everything is on me just to show you how much value I can bring to you.
Because, as we said in the podcast, action favors the bold, massive action, and money talks.
Money talks.
Because if you're listening to this and you're trying to make moves, a lot of times you get people approach you that have motivation, like, I can do this, I can do that. They talk a lot. Yeah. But when it comes time to following through, very few people do that. So Dr. Joe, being a very high status person, literally changing thousands, tens of thousands of lives, lots of people want to work with him.
Yeah.
So he gets approached literally every day. So he's just used to, people just barraging him. So that's in my opinion, and Joe, if you're watching this, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's your standard approach. It's like, we'll see what happens. Because most people let it go. That means they're not serious. Yeah. But I know that when someone is really serious and they take action and they put skin in the game, they put money talks, that's when he's going to take you serious. Because no one does that. So if you stand out and you back your word up with action, that's going to get his attention. So I gave my talk in Nashville. Alex came too on his own dime and did his deal and just Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, it was, to me, it's a little bit scary, but in the same time, it is fun because now, what I learned from that is when we step into the unknown, like we literally, life can be so great because while we do that, we basically leave our past stories behind. We're not living the same story anymore. So when I step into Nashville, I have no idea what's going to happen, and that's great. And I just came in with an open mind and filmed the whole event. Learned so much because last year I was 22 years old, really no business and life experience at all, and in the room with those really people who are doing amazing things in the world, and just to listen and to contribute at the same time, it's great. And what I learned from that is a couple lessons I've learned. So first of all, I asked your help, right? I feel like it's really important as a starting stage, and no matter what we do, pharmacist, you want to get in fitness or mindset, no matter where we start, I feel like it's really great to have someone that's willing to coach you, willing to help you. And also ourselves, we need to be open for coaching. We need to be open for people's help because while we step into that new field, we don't have that knowledge.
So you have to approach your endeavors with humility.
Humility. And I'm so glad that I asked your help because I wouldn't be there, I wouldn't be here today if I wasn't asking you and it wasn't for you be so generous of providing me that advice.
Oh, dude, it's one of my gifts, and if you're watching this and you're a pharmacist, you know that one of the assets of being a good pharmacist is being able to read people and kind of pick up on things. But when I met Alex, I'm like, this guy is legit. Like he's going after it. So I just love seeing people win and succeed. So I was like, dude, you're all in. Like, I'm going to help you. Like, I'm going to like give. So when we did that first event, cool. What did I tell you?
So cool.
I said, I'm going to get you 10 paid gigs. Yeah.
Dude, they get more than that.
I think it's like 25.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but seriously, I'm like, dude, I believe, like, you'll see, like, I know people probably say this kind of stuff, but you'll see, and I'll keep track. So I'm like, dude, there's number 3. Dude, there's number 6. Dude, there's number 8. I'm like, dude, there's number 10. Don't worry, I'm not done. And he's like, oh.
And everybody's are really like good clients, are good people.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, each needs the help of the other. Phi Delta Chi, that's our motto, but it's so true. Because,
so true,
if you look at anyone in history, and I did this on a previous podcast, anyone in history that was successful, not one of them did that on their own. It might seem like that, but they all had a team behind them. And I get that, and I value that. So I want to be your team. So if you're in that's what I do. I've been a coach since 2013, and it's an honor to sit here with Alex and have him share his story because there's real impact that comes from coaching. Yeah. And this is a testament to how that can help because I have coaches. I have coaches in every area of my life, fitness, nutrition, you name it. We grow our skills and develop through time, but having a mentor cuts that time and that learning curve so much. So if you have something, if you have something important in your life, especially if it's fitness, nutrition, or career related, right here. Shameless plug. But back to your story. So what happened was while Joe was there, so I said, like, dude, I predicted this. So Joe, this is real talk. So I said, okay, man, here's what's gonna happen. Joe's gonna shoot you down, and then you're gonna respond with this massive action. And he's gonna call your bluff and say, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll see you in Nashville." And what exactly did he say?
Say, "Oh wow, that's tough to turn down. I'll see you in Nashville." That's exactly
what he said.
Exactly.
Yeah. You'll never forget that.
I'll never forget that email.
So because most people would not even do that, and then most people would not even like be that bold. But then if they are, he's like, "Okay, we'll see." And then he actually showed up with all his camera gear early because, like I say, if you can't be on time, be early. With all his camera gear, fully present in the moment, and it wasn't just like film this and like hit record and sit down. No, it was like engaged, panning, I looked you up. So what did I say? Like, do your research before. So you listened to his podcast, you checked out his social media, you basically stalked him for like a week prior.
Oh yeah, I was listening to all the episodes of his YouTube. Like,
so you had context, you knew what his mission was, you knew about him, you could have an intelligent conversation that proved and displayed that you were invested in his best interest. And that's what you did through conversations. So he's like, oh, this guy actually is like serious. So you're like, oh, I could see, like, I also do photography. Do you mind if I do some like, profile pictures? So right now, their profile pictures, he took them, right?
Yeah.
But what's interesting, so coming back to the beginning of the story, Alex identified who his end client was. an influencer, a successful entrepreneur who had a message, and Alex was open, the client was open to using video to share that, which is what Alex comes in, brings to the table. That's his passion.
Yeah.
So when we were in Nashville, Joe was impressed that you showed up and you were fully present doing awesome work. We were at dinner, and then what happened?
So we're just talking. I didn't expect anything because when I went to Nashville, I have zero expectations. I just went there to serve. That's all I was going, to learn and serve.
Yeah.
That's it. So while we were having dinner, and basically Joe said, "Okay, I know someone that will be, you two will work well together." So basically he connected with me. It was a person named Daniel DiPiazza, and so I shoot him a DM right on the spot, and then took a selfie with Joe. And he's like, let's take a selfie and send it to him and see what happens. And then within 3 minutes, I got a response from him. And he said, any friend of Joe is a friend of mine. And I didn't know at the time who he was, but then I find out, and then I read his book and just diving into his content. This is exactly the person I want to work with. That's just crazy.
Your ideal client. So
ideal client.
If y'all don't know, look him up on Instagram, on YouTube. Yeah. Daniel DiPiazza. He's got the little blue check mark. His book is in Barnes & Noble.
So good.
Just a quick summary, and I don't want to do a disservice to him and his mission, but to summarize what his mission is he helps entrepreneurs take their business to the next level. He only works with entrepreneurs who are making only $10,000 a month and want to break through to the next level.
Yeah, that's a starter. Yeah.
That's his client he won't work with you unless you're consistently making $10K a month as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And he helps you break through the next level. So that's where he's at, just like a brief overview. A lot more to it, but just a brief snippet.
A lot more. Another thing is he talked about the spirituality of business, of life, which is so cool, and just not just business, but life in general. It's basically my niche. That's exactly my niche. So it's influencer not only talks about business, but talk about life lessons. So when I read his book, it gives me goosebumps while I was reading it, because if I can work with anyone in this world, this guy will be the perfect person for me to work with. And then how crazy is that? One of the chances of that's going to happen.
Well, the harder you work, the luckier you get. So you would never have had this if you didn't go all in on your mission, on your passion, taking these actions. So you did all this, by the way. So this is all you.
Oh.
You created all of this yourself. So you sought out, you did whatever was necessary. You paid your own way. You said it's so good, I'm going to give it to you for free. So you came from an act of service, from let me just prove it to you, because I want to work with you that bad. I believe in my product this much that I can impact and up your level of service so much that I can do this for you. So by doing that, by taking massive action and going towards fear, because this is unknown. You don't know any of these people. I just vouch for them all. And luckily you trust me, so you're I'll take your word. Yeah. So you went all in, totally blind, but the only thing you knew is this is what I was meant to do, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I know I'm going to either win or I'm going to learn. And that's how you went into it.
That's how you did it.
So from that action, you made this contact. Now from there, continue with the story.
Yeah, and from there, went home. And not only that, Dr. Joe is he's amazing. He sent me a check, basically compensating my travel fees. So I didn't win on my own dime, but I did with that mindset. I didn't expect to get paid at all.
Yeah.
Not only did I get paid, and my work improved a lot along that journey, and also I got all the referrals from him. And it's a great lesson, because what I learned is, you always talk about this, give.
Yeah.
With no expectation in return.
Yeah.
But then in contrast, it always comes. I love that. And I love that just when we are trying to find a mentor, when we are trying to find our ideal client, when we're trying to close that sale, convince our patients, whatever, it's always good to come from the mindset of, I want to offer you something first.
Yeah.
Instead of, what can you do for me right in the spot? Because nobody will.
So there's two levels to break through here. One is, don't approach it what's in it for me. The second is, if I give, then I get something back. You have to abandon those mindsets. You have to literally give without any expectation. So give to give. Maybe it's not well received. Maybe they don't appreciate it, whatever. You cannot fix your emotion on the outcome. It's just giving and then let it go. Give and let it go.
Yeah.
Consistently with genuine giving. Not 2 weeks ago I gave you this, so you have to do this for me. No expectation, just give. And then just let it go, just give to give. It's very easy concept, but it's very difficult to accept. And you might think like, oh, then I'm never going to make $1. Like, how you're going to go out of business? Not so much. So continue with the story.
So I got home. I did this basically a promo for their own new product launch, and I spent the whole day. I was like really focusing on editing this whole clip. And one thing with editing software is sometimes it crashes. Technology that happens, and I didn't save the whole process. And basically, you see the little marks of not the software is not responding, and I was like,
like what is this? 8-10 hours of editing?
like yeah,
and
it's
just
like a whole
gone.
day, like a whole day.
Yeah,
it's gone.
So like writing your final essay like the night before it's due, and
yeah, the dog eat the paper or whatever. yeah, and I was angry for 10 minutes. Really angry about it.
It'd be longer than 10 minutes for
and
me.
then the anger, something that turns into a drive. Then I was like, okay, I'll show you. I'm gonna do it better this time. And I not only the second time is faster, and the quality is basically on a new level, because I feel like that was the moment where my skill 10 times better than the last time.
So we did a podcast about a year ago, actually, about pain versus pleasure. Of anything you guys have ever done, it's driven by one of two things, either pain or pleasure. So with that, Alex had some pain, right? And that's a stronger driving force than the pleasurable outcome.
Yeah.
Because the first time he did it, it was through pleasure outcome. Like, oh, this is going to look great, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, now it crashed. He expected to deliver that day. So now he has the pain. So that's a driving force. And that caused a shift for him to just totally get innovative and really dig deep. So not only was the end result better quality, but he got there faster. So that's the value that you can use pain if you look at it. How is this happening for me instead of to me?
Dude,
so big mindset shift there.
That was the moment where, because we always talk about life is happening for me. That was a moment where I was challenged to put into practice, because I always almost slip into this poor me, almost. But I remember what we talk about, like, because we always talk about this concept is one of your number one, change your life.
My life.
And I was thinking, okay, how can this happening for me? There's only one reason I find, there's only one meaning I got from that whole thing is it must be a challenge of me to get better. Because
seek and you shall find.
And then I just went on overcoming that task with the mindset of this time I'm gonna do it better. And then I did. And then after that, my work is all the other work is going to on another level.
So that's what I want to share and really drive home with you guys is we don't have these podcasts about something that we like heard in another podcast or whatever. These are huge principles that might make sense, might be simple, but when you actually implement them into your life, the results are ridiculously insane.
Yeah.
And that's why we're sharing this video, because it really ties in a lot of the podcasts that we've done full circle, because we put them into practice. We don't talk about these things unless we have done them in our own life. And that's why we're able to do this unscripted and with so much energy, because we've actually lived what we're talking about. We practice what we preach.
Yeah.
So that's something that's really huge. So that was awesome. Like, that was one of my favorite projects that you did. The metabolic map.
Thank you.
Epic.
It was so much fun.
Yeah. It was so good.
Yeah.
So from there, you at Nashville, like you had the gig, you did it well, but that was like the first snip with Daniel. So then you continue on your evolution through business. So walk us through just some highlights of some growth that you've done. And then that came to another point where you upped your equipment. You guys might notice that the quality of this video and audio are really crisp and clean because you elevated your tools.
Yeah, invest. I heard this a couple of weeks ago. A guy talks about when we want to really make a change in our life, we have to make a breakthrough. And oftentimes the breakthrough or the leap of faith has to do with money. So we got to invest a certain amount of money into our future. And what I did is I didn't have I didn't save enough money for this new camera, but I know I have to take my business to the next level. So I basically went in debt to get this camera. And because of this camera and the quality it gives and the confidence it gives to me, I'm able to get this gig with Daniel. And everything is like a little bit just coming together. It's not only the camera and also, the hard work and all the connections. So it's
a catch-22. So you literally
Yeah.
burn the boats. So there's no plan B. Like, this is it. So
Yeah.
you believe in your service so much that you have to elevate your quality and the tools you have to give that high quality. But in order to get that, you need the revenue to make it happen.
Yeah.
So you literally invest in the camera. So now you have the quality, but you have to literally get another gig. You have to get more gigs in order to pay for that.
Have to.
So it's literally like you're forcing yourself to level up.
Yeah. And I feel like, because right now, like when I just post stuff on there, okay, so, oh, wow, you got this gig with Daniel, such a cool entrepreneur, successful. And, you didn't put, how are you get so lucky? You didn't put in that work.
This is the story of how that happened.
Like, yeah, just all those work. And then how we've met. Because if I wouldn't have met you, I wouldn't have met Daniel. It's just that, like, how one connection can lead to, it's like a seed. And one seed can grow an apple tree full of apples. You talked about this the other day.
Yeah.
And the reason why I met you is while I was working with Dale Carnegie, so one of my tasks as a salesperson is to go to networking events. As an introvert, I'd hate going to networking events, but I still went over the whole entire year, even though I don't like it. And so, if you're listening, you probably can relate that a lot of times in order for you to do the things you love, you have to do the things you hate or you don't like, to enjoy doing first. Sometimes it requires that.
Every dream job has an aspect to it that you don't really care for, but needs done anyway.
Needs done. It's like same thing goes with business, same thing goes with everything. Your learning subject you don't like to learn, but it kind of helps you with the bigger picture. So that was kind of it. And then that day, I could have just choose, okay, I'm gonna stay home tonight. I'm not gonna go to this networking event. It's stupid. But you know what? I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna push myself out of the comfort zone. And that's how we met.
Yeah, we met at a networking event, Chamber of Commerce. Yeah. True story. Because we were both trying to grow. We didn't know what we were doing at the time. We just had this passion. We're like, we need to do something.
Connect.
Do something.
Just need to connect.
So that's how this all started long time ago.
So,
but yeah, coming back.
Hard work.
You elevated yourself. You invested in new equipment. You started getting more gigs. And then...
Yeah, hard work, man.
What happened with this event with Daniel? So we initially, back in Nashville, Dr. Joe connected you with Daniel.
Yeah.
But then, tell us about coming full circle. So you're going through this growth process. You're doing personal development. You're growing your business. You're upping your equipment. You're scaling. Tell us about the breakthrough event in July in New York City. Tell us about that.
That was the day where all the 2 years of hard work, from 2 years ago dropping out of college to quit full-time job to working really hard every day to just get clients and working on videos, to that day, leads to that day. That day, I was working literally side by side with one of the greatest entrepreneurs out there. And before I go, I use that the things that you taught me from Dr. Joe's, you coached me there, is to really know everything about who you're working with. So I read his book, finished it in like 3 days. Like I was like literally spending the whole day just to read his book and just to really dive into the mindset. And on that day, and when I get there, which is it's just such I know I'm in the right place. And so basically in the proposal, I told him that, okay, so the filming day is on that day, but then you can have me there a day early just to over-deliver to him. So if you want me a day early to get more content, I'm open. So he called me before we go, and he's like, okay, so there is a private event on Friday. So the actual event is on Saturday. So he told me that there's a private event on Friday, and if you like to come to film, are you open to that idea? And I was like, yeah, I'm all in. And then the event is in New Jersey, but we are going to New York tomorrow. So I told him, yeah, I can just drive you there to New York tomorrow. So and I told him on the phone, this is so cool because basically I'm having like a a coaching session one-on-one with like literally the best coaches on business out there.
Yeah.
And I was like smiling so big on the phone, and yeah, he didn't even know it. So getting to the event, all the hard work really pays off because now I know I was in my element. I know exactly what to do. I know how to talk to him because our mindset is very similar. Like we speak the same language.
Yeah.
And going to the New Jersey and from New Jersey to New York, we have this really meaningful conversation in the car, and just talk about business, talk about his psychedelic experience. Well, that was fun, and just talk. He gets to know more about me, and so out of that whole entire weekend, I just learned so much, and not only that, the research I did, it paid off again. So one of the podcasts I listened to him is the podcast of Daniel did at Founder, a company called Founder. So what Founder is, it's very soon going to be the #1 magazine for entrepreneurs.
Over 1 million followers on Instagram, the whole deal.
Organic followers on Instagram, yeah. And now they're pushing their YouTube videos. So basically, I ran into the founder of Founder at the event on Saturday.
Nathan Chen.
And then I was like, the dude is super humble. Like he's just in the back, it's really quiet. And I was like, wait, are you Nathan Chen by any chance? And I said, I am. I said, what's your name? I'm Alex. And from that, and I start talking to him. Okay, so how's Founder doing? Because of the research did beforehand, I be able to know what he's doing, and then I'd be able to ask him the right questions. And he's like, yeah, it's doing really well. We're actually having he said, we're opening a new location in New York, and we want to really pump videos. I was like, I'm your guy.
Yeah, exactly. So now,
yeah.
From all these breadcrumbs or planting seeds and taking action, now you have an opportunity to work with Founder, one of the biggest companies in entrepreneurship in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah.
That's in 1 year.
1 year.
Because he took massive action.
Less than 1 year.
Less than one year. Did what was not comfortable, went forward in the face of adversity, took massive action, put his money where his mouth was, and was consistent and did not quit. You invested in your dreams because you realize that if you don't believe in you, no one will believe in you.
No one. And I feel like truth is the highest vibration, one of the highest vibration in this world. So I really encourage people to know who you really are, know what makes you, what drives you.
Exactly.
And step into your truth.
Mindset is so key, guys. It's in nutrition, whether you're doing a physical transformation, career. That's a cornerstone in my coaching with the FitPharmacist community, is looking at that mindset, regardless of where you are or where your goals are. That is a key component in how to really come into your own self and acceptance and really take that to the next level, starting with where you are, regardless of if that's experience, you're just starting out, or this whole process is new to you.
Yeah, man.
So we started in the same room at the college you dropped out of. I gave my first paid presentation. You had your first paid gig.
Yeah.
And there was a moment of clarity. There was a breakthrough that this is what I was meant to do. And from that one moment, that brings us to 2019. It's August 15th, which is just 3 weeks after this event in New York City. In a room, Daniel DiPiazza's event with Nathan Chan, the founder of Founder, people like Tank Sinatra, if you've heard of him on Instagram. So now he's taking that and it's just flourishing. And
it's flourishing. And, I'm really blessed because what I really learned along all those journey, and I feel like all the listeners can benefit, is if you really step into your truth and you are there to serve, people are really genuinely happy to help you.
Yeah.
Like people like you, people like Dr. Joe, and people like Daniel. And it's the reason that I'm here. And it's the old saying, if you want to work quick, you work alone. But if you want to go far, we go together.
Yeah.
And it's because that support. And the ways to get that support is really, if we come from the genuine place of serving, of connection, and we are there just to be our authentic self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
stay true to your truth and come at it from humility and from a genuine place of wanting to serve and give. And that's what we're here to do. The secret to living is giving.
Yeah.
And when you approach life with that, it's not only a freeing experience, but rewarding in a way that I can't even describe on this video or podcast.
Yeah.
So phenomenal, man. But I just want to reiterate.
That's the story. Yep.
I know you gave credit, but the only credit due is you, because you put the action and you made the sacrifice. So you should be super excited for all that you've done.
Excited, man. Super
because
excited.
I did nothing, you did everything.
Yeah.
And that's phenomenal to be a witness of this and to share this story with others, because I guarantee that you watching this, because you're listening to this, because you're watching this, you have goals, you have high aspirations to make some sort of impact, to leave some sort of legacy. And if you haven't already, you will face adversity. You will have people tell you you can't do this, or you'll fail out, or whatever will happen. But the reason we're creating this is to say you're not alone. We've gone through this, but if you persist, and we've covered a lot of golden nuggets in this episode, a lot of awesome things and principles that if you actually put them into practice, if you do the work, they're going to pay off in ways like Alex has seen. So that's why we wanted to share this. This is part 1 of the story, because part 2 is my story with professional speaking.